Today's expression of the day is one verb, or one word, pigeonhole. Pigeonhole. Did you guys know what a pigeon is?
It's a bird?
The bird, the pigeon. And sometimes I hear some Korean students mix the word pigeon and dove. Maybe you guys know, but dove is the white bird and usually symbolizes peace. So if you hear dove, it sounds nice and clean. Even there is a soap brand named Dove because it is the white bird, so it's visualized as being clean. When you say pigeon, you think of the dirty street bird. And usually it's gray and has some colors on it. Actually, some people think that the pigeon is actually a beautiful bird because it has some colors on it. Not me, because I associate it with being on the street and dirty.
It's the same sort, right?
Same
Sort of words. Yeah.
Same species?
Yeah, same species.
The dove and the pigeon? Yeah, I think so. I think that's why some people, the students, were mixing up the words. I am not a bird expert, so I'm not sure if they are the same species. They very well may be. And pigeonhole, I guess if you use it as a noun, which I'm not going to talk about, is some type of hole where they put their nest, right? But we don't need to worry about that. We're going to talk about how you use it as a verb. To pigeonhole someone, usually you're going to pigeonhole someone, maybe something. It means you put it in a category. What does it say here? You assign it to a particular category or class, especially too rigid or exclusive. So for example, this is talking about the band. And maybe this band has a lot of type of music and their style. Their style is very funky and they do a lot of different stuff. But it says they were pigeonholed as an indie guitar band. It means like you're giving something a label or a classification and you just want to put it into that group. But usually it is bigger than that group. You know, you are kind of shoving it into a hole. What would be a synonym? These are synonyms: categorize, compartmentalize, classify, label, brand. Those words don't have as negative as a nuance. Sometimes label you can use as a negative way, like don't label me that. Pigeonhole would be a similar type way, you know. You're being pigeonholed into some type of classification. I like sports a lot, so when I saw them use this expression last week when they were talking about the basketball player and they were pigeonholing him as the guard position. You know, the guard is, but really he can play guard, he can play forward, he can play center, he can do everything, but they're kind of pigeonholing him, putting him into that small classification.
So it's used in a negative connotation?
Yeah. Usually it's going to be used in a negative connotation. Sometimes, I should say, I guess, I've never even used it this way. Sometimes it says if a person has like a small desk or something where they keep the letters, that can be called a pigeonhole. So you can also use the word pigeonhole to mean to put something away for later. But I don't see it used like that much. This example sentence says, she pigeonholed her worry about him, meaning she is worrying about him, so she put that away and she will deal with that later. But I don't see it used like that too often. When I see that word used, it is like the one where I talked before, to pigeonhole someone, to throw them into a group that maybe they don't belong in, or that group is too small, too rigid, it's not flexible enough, like that. Maybe I can find one more example sentence.
I have a
Yes.
So if you pigeonhole someone or something,
Yeah.
then after that you put as or into.
They were
Okay.
pigeonholed as, or they were pigeonholed into. Yeah, into. Usually, as I guess would probably be the best word. As is a good one to use. A tendency to pigeonhole him as a photographer and neglect his work in sculpture and painting, like that. So I would say as is the best word to use after it.
The whole is H-O-L-E.
H-O-L-E, yeah, a whole, and it's one word.
Yeah. It's a one word.
Just one word.
Pigeonhole.
And when I was looking up the definition for this one, sometimes when I look up the definition, usually Google gives you a definition, right?
Yeah.
And then there will be Merriam-Webster, very famous dictionary. If you see Urban Dictionary, don't click on it.
Really? Don't believe?
Yeah.
Really?
It gives like 3 or 4 different sexual definitions for a pigeonhole. Every time I see the Urban Dictionary, they might give a real one, and then they give like 3 or 4 really dirty and sexual. Don't click on Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Or if you do, don't take it seriously and don't use that. Yeah. So we will start.